Allelic relationships are classified into dominance and recessive, codominance, and sex-linked trait. In these sessions, we are going to emphasize on codominance, in which both alleles can express equally in the next generations. For example, the AB blood group or pink rose produced by red and white roses. The dominance allelic relationship is generally classified into incomplete dominance and codominance. In incomplete dominance, hybrid phenotype is the partial expression of two alleles, while in codominance, so the hybrid phenotype is complete expression of two alleles independently. For example, in incomplete dominance, we take a red and white variety. So homozygous red is crossed with a homozygous white variety, and they produce the heterozygous pink variety, which is CR and CW. Now, this heterozygous pink variety is an intermediate blend of red and white color. So this is incomplete or partial expression of both alleles, while in codominance, there is a complete expression of two alleles. For example, if we have A and B blood group, so homozygous A and homozygous B will produce one type of the gamete, which fertilize together and produce heterozygous AB blood group. Now, this AB blood group will complete expression of allele A and allele B. For example, on the surface of red blood cell, there will be two types of antigen, antigen A and antigen B. So this will produce AB complete blood group. So we're going to look at the further incomplete dominance or partial dominance by following layout. For example, we take a red flower with a homozygous red, CR and CR, while the white flower with a homozygous white with a CW and CW. So they will produce single type of gamete. For example, red flower will produce one type of pollen grain, while the white flower will take one type of ovule if we consider it female. Now, these gamete will fertilize together and produce heterozygous intermediate variety, which is pink color. Now, this pink color heterozygous is an intermediate expressions of the two alleles, CR and CW. So this F1 generations we consider as the parent two. So we will select one male plant and one female plant. So for male plant, so this is our pink variety, and the female plant we're going to consider as the pink variety. These both are heterozygous. So we are using from male plant, there are the two different type of pollen grain it will produce, so CR and CW, while the female plant will produce two different type of pollen grain, CR and CW. To calculate their F2 generations by the Punnett scale, so we're going to use that Punnett scale at one side, the male gamete, while another side, the female gamete. In this female gamete, CR ovule can fertilize with a CR pollen grain and produce red color of flower, while CR gamete can fertilize with the CW and produce heterozygous pink variety. In the same way, CW ovule can fertilize with a CR pollen grain and produce heterozygous pink variety, while the CW can fertilize with the CW and produce homozygous white variety. So if we calculate the phenotypic expressions, so in this phenotypic expressions, we get 1:2:1, while in the genotypic expression, there will be same ratio, 1:2:1 in incomplete or partial dominance. So in a phenotypic expression, we calculated, for example, if we have one red, and that is the 25%, while the two pink, these are 50% of total, while the 25% is the white variety. So this 25% white variety will give us simple whole number ratio, 1:2:1. if we calculate the genotypic expressions, so that is the homozygous red variety is 25%, while heterozygous CR and CW is 50%, while homozygous white variety is 25%. So here we got idea if there's an incomplete dominance, F1 generations will be 100% intermediate variety, while in F2 generation, there will be ratio 1:2:1 of phenotypic and genotypic ratio will be same. So if you see that the example of question, a red flower is always homozygous, while the white flower is always homozygous. So the pink flower are heterozygous. Now, if the red and white flower are crossed, what percentage of offspring will be pink? If we calculate this percentage, we consider, for example, if you have a homozygous red and homozygous white, they produce one type of gamete which fertilize together and produce heterozygous. 100% F1 generation is a heterozygous because the parents are true breeding variety. So in this way, the answer will be D, 100%. So the pink variety will be heterozygous. We're going to look at the codominance in monohybrid cross with the example of the blood group. For example, if you take the parents' homozygous variety of the parents' A blood group and B blood group, so the parent one, that is with the A blood group, so we have a homozygous A, while the parent two, we're going to take of the homozygous B variety. So they will produce single type of gamete. So the gamete A, and while the B homozygous B will produce the gamete B, which will fertilize together and produce heterozygous variety. So this heterozygous will produce 100% AB blood group. Now, in this way, the blood will express on the surface of red blood cell. There will be two different type of antigen, A and B. So expression of antigen A and B is complete. There is no dependent on each other. So in this way, there is no blend. It's complete expression. So that's why it is complete. That's our codominance monohybrid cross. We're going to take F1 generations as the parent too. So we will select one male and one female with a blood group AB and AB. So we're going to cross these two heterozygous variety together. Now in this parent too, so these two heterozygous variety will produce two different type of the gamete from male side, while two different type of gamete from female side. So to calculate F2 generation, we're going to put it on one gamete, male on one side, while the egg on another side. So here, for example, the egg A can fertilize with a sperm A and can produce homozygous A blood group. So that will be the A blood group. Why? Because it's a homozygous A. While the egg A can go with a sperm B, can produce heterozygous AB variety of blood group. While the egg B can fertilize with the sperm A, can produce heterozygous, that's AB, and in the same way, B variety can go with a B and produce a blood group B. If you calculate their phenotypic expressions and the genotypic expressions, so this expression will come 1:2:1, while in the genotypic expression is same because it is codominant trait. So how did we calculate the phenotypic? So this phenotypic, for example, the A blood group is 25% in all, while the 50% is heterozygous, while AB blood group, while the 25% is B blood group. So the ratio, simple whole number ratio will be 1:2:1. While the genotypic expressions, when we see this, so if there is a homozygous A is 25%, heterozygous is AB is 50%, while homozygous A, the B will be 25%. So there's a homozygous B is 25%. So overall, the simple whole number ratio will be 1:2:1. So we're going to see that in the relevant example, the coat color in a cattle is inherited in a very similar way to the blood group in a human. For example, the allele CB will going to express for brown coat color, while the allele CW will appear for white coat color, while there's heterozygous variety is brown color. Now we are going to interbreed the one roan color with another roan color of the roan color of cow is crossed with roan color of bull. Now, these parents are heterozygous variety CB and CW is the roan cow, while the CB in CW is a roan bull. And we are supposed to calculate their gametes and their offspring genotype, phenotype, and their phenotypic ratio. For example, the gamete, if this is the heterozygous variety, so this will produce the heterozygous gamete. So two different types of gametes are possible. For example, CB and the color for that is brown color, while CW is for white coat colors. While in the same way, the bull will produce two different types of sperms. So this is CB and CW. Now here, the possibility CB egg can go with the two different types of those sperms. So in this way, we're going to calculate the probability CB can go with the CB, and that will produce homozygous B variety, and the color is going to be brown. Well, the CB can go with the CW variety, and in this way, this will produce heterozygous variety roan coat color, while the CW can also go with the CB of sperm, and that will produce heterozygous variety, while CW egg can go with the CW of sperm, and that will produce homozygous white variety. So here, if you calculate the phenotypic expressions, so this phenotypic expressions is related with the genotypes. For example, if there's a homozygous B, that will produce a brown color. Heterozygous will produce roan color, while homozygous W will produce white color. While the ratio, when we calculate the ratio of phenotypic expressions, so we can calculate by simple whole number ratio. For example, 1 is brown, 2 are roan, and 1 is white. Or we can say 25% is brown, while 50% is roan, while the 25% is white color. So here in this type of the structured questions might possible, we're going to see toward the MCQs question 1, pure breeding black feather chicken are mated with a pure breeding white feather chicken. So here, black and white two varieties are here. Now in this black and white two varieties, so we're going to take in F1 generations. So all the individual offspring in F1 generation is a black and white feather. So what does it mean? So we got an idea, if the F1 generation is a black and white, so this is codominance trait. Why? Because both allele for black and allele for white, both are expressing themselves independently in F1 generations. So in this way, this is our codominance allele. So we're going to calculate F2 generation on the basis of F1 generations by the principle of codominance. So here, what will be the ratio of offspring phenotype when the two F1 generation chickens are crossed? So one thing is confirmed, F1 generation is heterozygous, and this heterozygous will express themselves independently in F2 generations. So we're going to calculate, for example, we have a two different type of sperm because both parents are heterozygous, and two different type of egg. So now the sperm with a black variety, so egg with a black variety. So egg with a black variety can fertilize with a sperm with a black variety that will produce homozygous B. And then the black variety can go with the white variety of the sperm, and that will produce heterozygous. And in the same way, white variety can go with the black and white variety, and this result will be there. Now in this result, we have a 1 black, 2 heterozygous black and white, and 1 white variety. So the ratio, what we are considering here, so there's going to be a 1 black, 2 black and white, and 1 white variety. So here we have done about the codominance relationship, and the codominance is classified into the partial codominance and codominance. So hopefully it will be beneficial for you and you got a concept. If you feel any problem for understanding the basic terminology, I'll advise you to go through and watch the video relevant to the basic terminology, which is prerequisite for inheritance, and hopefully it will be better for you. So thank you very much for watching this video.